Hey YouTube, Elite Legionario here, bringing you a 1 vs 1 for Medieval 2 Total War on the Arsuf map. Just quickly, because this part of this action gets going pretty fast, I was trying to use my two mounted crossbowmen here to basically I was originally just going to skirmish with these two raiders, because raiders don't have the range, but what I decided to do was actually charge them, and hopefully my Knights Hospitaller and Norse War Clerics here would be able to catch them before they could actually get away. But unfortunately I just managed to pull out as well as rout my mounted crossbowmen, so I was probably gambling a little bit much there. But removing these raiders in such a way would be exceptionally useful because they are so very deadly against heavy knights like that. So that's what I was doing there, and that just happened really quickly. So anyway, I am obviously Denmark, and my opponent is Asskick 96. He was a really nice player, and I did tell him I would get this battle up sooner, and I apologise. Of course I had those computer problems and I wasn't able to do so. So that's why I didn't get it up as soon as I said, but obviously it's going to be up now, and I can tell you now guys that he was a good player, gave me one heck of a challenge, and this was a fantastic fight. So my army consists of a peasant for my screen. I have 3 units of Obershire. They're a really good halberd unit, and I'll put them in the front row. Well, they're about as good as halberds can get. I have 2 units of dismounted Huskarls, 1 on each flank. And then I have 4 units of Chivalric Knights making up the central part of my army. So, and I also have, I believe it's 4 units of crossbowmen each side. On each side, I had Knights Hospitaller and a Norse War Cleric, and I had these 2 units of mounted crossbowmen like I showed before. Mostly just to keep these raiders busy. I didn't know if he was going to bring raiders, but I'm glad I had these guys, because although the raiders will pretty quickly rout them in a melee, anything like that, if I can keep them away from any other fight, it's well worth it. So my opponent, unfortunately for me, has Teutonic Knights, which are a match for my Norse War Clerics in terms of melee fighting, and I shouldn't have too much trouble defeating my Knights Hospitaller. So he's got a General's Bodyguard though instead on this flank, and only 1 Teutonic Knight. So I'm going to make a rush. His army consists of, I think it's 3 or 4 Pubby's Crossbowmen. He had 2 Arquebusiers, he had 2 Zwei Handlers, he has, I think it's 3 dismounted Imperial Knights, the 3rd Zwei Handler, my bad, and I think he has a Forlorn Hope in here somewhere, yep, and a few Landsknecht. So immediately his raiders again rout one of my mounted crossbowmen, but I'm keeping them out of the fight, and that's important. Over here, I do manage to destroy one of his Teutonic Knight, and I'm about to... I do okay against this other one, because I bring in an infantry unit, but now he's bringing his raiders in. So I'm going to pull my Norse War Cleric General out and start using that for hammer and anvils. Over here I charged, and the only a mistake he does make here is he doesn't pull his crossbowmen out, so he can't use them to support. He also makes the mistake of, throughout this fight, chasing after my crossbowmen and not getting hammer and anvil strikes in, which does give me the edge. But at this stage in the fight, as you can see, he's got 12% advantage on me, so at this stage it's looking pretty bad. He does a really good job of making this very difficult for me. He does win the cav fight over here, but I use my mounted crossbowmen to stall him, but I do win the fight over here. And I did manage to pull that other cav out, so my only advantage really so far in this fight is that I've been able to get hammer and anvils in quicker than he has, and that is going to make a big difference. Because if you look at this infantry line, it's some of my guys are winning, some of his guys are winning. And I'm going to use strikes in, and I'm going to be able to get a few routes quicker than he, but he started to do the same. But the mistake I think he makes is that he's using his raiders and other cav units to try and get rid of my crossbowmen, but he's not getting hammer and anvils in as quickly as I am. So as you can see at the moment, it says 55% to my guys, 50% to his, so I've caught him up. I'm catching him up pretty quickly. He had 12% advantage on me, which is pretty big in most cases. But as you can see, he's starting to get hammer and anvils in now, but he's left it a little late in my opinion. And as you can see, it's now even. We both lost about 60% of our army. So I managed to catch him up even though he had 12% lead, because I was swifter in getting the hammer and anvils, and plus because he's not let his crossbows come out of this fight. So out of all the two-handed units, I always talk about the two-handed unit glitch, and yes, two-handed units do have the glitch, but the Holy Roman Empire guys have so much attack that they can often be quite effective even with the glitch. So you have to be pretty careful with them. If you're playing the Kingdoms expansion, the Holy Roman Empire's two-handed units are just devastating. I would definitely rearrange the list of top strongest factions if I included the effects of that Kingdoms expansion in, but obviously it doesn't work like that. So as you can see, it's still very even between us. We've both lost about 70%, slightly in my favour now, so I'm pretty pleased to manage to turn that round, because I was looking pretty solemn and thought I was going to lose that one, but he was as I said, a really good opponent and a good sport, so it was fun. I wouldn't have minded losing to him really. So as you can see, it's still very even, but I'm managing to get more charges in, and that is making the difference. And again, he still hung up on my crossbowman, and that was the mistake, because it allowed me to get more charges in and more cav doing it than him. So that's going to turn the fight in my favour. And because Chivalric Knights is such a useful and reliable sword and shield unit, it means I should be able to defeat his wide handers, because they'll start doing the little glitch that they can do being a two-handed unit. So I think if you had more Imperial Knights, this might have been more difficult, or perhaps a mixture of Imperial Knights and Feudal Knights. Dismantled Feudal Knights, but other than that, he fought extremely well, and I take my hat off to him, because he gave me one heck of a challenging fight here. Decisions gets coming right down to the wire, and although it is turning into my favour now, I will win this, but just barely. It's going to be the biggest Pyrrhic victory that I've had in a long time. So, and again, it basically just comes down that I looked after my crossbows better, and I was able to get flank shots, and he got hung up on trying to kill them rather than getting hammer and anvils. And that's really all that he did wrong, and I think I just got him generally lucky, to be honest, because he, apart from those two tiny little errors, he really didn't do anything wrong in this fight, and I just got lucky. And I think just because I used sword and shield units and not two-handed units gave me a bit of an edge too, because my men were a bit swifter with their attack, obviously. But it makes very little difference, because as I said, this is going to be an extremely close game, and as you see, it's going to be a nice tussle there. I think, yeah, it was his general getting hit by my crossbows, so at the same pace, while it wasn't ideal that he ignored his crossbows, if he pulled his own out, he could have occupied mine, and been able to avoid them getting shot in the flank, and that way he would have still been able to use his cav to strike at me. But that was the only error I would honestly give given this fight from him. I think that's basically why I was able to win, and that and a bit of just general good luck, I guess, in the fight. So a very close victory. In all honesty, I wouldn't have minded losing in that fight. I'm glad I won, of course, but either of us, in my opinion, deserved to win. We both tried really hard there, and I just got a few more hammer and anvils, and I guess that made the difference, because he was a slight bit slower in it. But other than that, it was really close. I mean, look at those kills. There's only literally about 60 men difference in that. If we look at the stats here, my general got 174. He was that Norse war cleric that got tons of cycle charges in. And my hospitality was pretty good as well, but the other two got pretty creamed in the cavalry fight. The mounted crossbowmen, they did okay, considering that they kept those raiters out of the fight. Now, if he'd used those raiters to sit behind my heavy knights and just shoot them, they would have routed, and he would have had tons of cav left, and he would have most definitely won. So I'm glad that he got suckered into going after those. My Obishire, one of them did good. The other two were just complete baggage. They just didn't do well at all. And my Chivalric Knights, this one got 91, 72, 89. So as you can see, Chivalric Knights were well worth it, because they got the most kills out of any of the infantry. One of these Huskarls, I think, 48 there, they didn't do spectacular, although one of them did add good support to that cav fight, which enabled me to save it, and some of these crossbowmen did okay. So really, dismounted Chivalric Knights, again, this really proves that sword and shield infantry is just generally better. You've got to be a bit more specific in your use of two-handed units, because they're glitchy. Again though, if this was the Kingdoms expansion, the Holy Roman Empire's two-handed units, where they're not affected by the glitch so much, would be devastating. So it's just the way it is. It's a wee bit unfortunately like that, but that's just the standard version of Medieval 2. It's the way it is. So unfortunately for him, if he'd used more Imperial Knights and dismounted Feudal Knights, I think it would have been even closer. So anyway, good game to Asskick. It was an awesome game. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon next time.